Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome back to the Nintendo Campfire podcast. We've actually got a lot of stuff to talk about today. It was a pretty jam-packed week. The episode today is one day later than I would have liked to have it out. I'm always going to try to have these episodes drop on Sundays, so forgive me for that. Hopefully, I can make up for it with a good show. I'm excited to jump into it. There was tons of good stuff, tons of crazy news, unexpected drops, more random updates as the title suggests, but we will jump right into it. Let's begin quickly by talking about what I've been playing. So, like I said last week, I've still been playing a lot of Animal Crossing, so I've been having a lot of fun with that. My girlfriend and I have been playing that together. She's currently hunting for villagers, she's doing Nook Miles tickets, resets, and looking for her desired villagers, and it's been hilarious to see her end up with the ones that she would consider too ugly to make the cut. I'm trying to play the patient game and try to wait so I can use my amiibo to get the villagers I want. So you invite a villager at the Nook Miles terminal, and it ends up taking 3 days of you continuously inviting the villager over and speaking to them. But since the new update just came out and they added all of the Zelda and Splatoon stuff, I'm currently working on getting Tool into my island. Then I'm going to get Minoru, so that's going to take 6 days between the two of them. Then after that, I'm going to use Amiibo to get my dream villagers, and I'm going to work really hard to make this island, which I've named Koholint, after Link's Awakening, my dream Animal Crossing New Horizons island. So I'm going to take it slow, bit by bit. We are doing treasure islands just because for the collab items like Zelda, Splatoon, etc., they take a long time to get. It's pretty grindy. They're expensive even once you reach the point where you can get them. So we did use treasure islands to get those and to make it a little easier to pay off our houses so we could upgrade them quicker to decorate them easily because it's kind of a pain when your house is like the base really small version and you decorate it when it's small. The second it gets bigger, nothing fits anymore. It doesn't work. So at least for me, I'm going to wait until I have the whole house completely upgraded to set it up. But yeah, still playing tons of Animal Crossing. Absolutely loving it. This is definitely the best way to play it. And it's been a ton of fun. It makes me really excited for the future of Animal Crossing because thinking back to New Leaf, which was the 3DS Animal Crossing, that game came out in 2013. We saw New Horizons in 2020. So that was a 7 year gap. Come 2027 next year, it'll be 7 years since New Horizons, which is absolutely insane to think about. Time continues to pass by so fast, but that means we're very close to a new Animal Crossing. And the Switch 2 upgrade and the 3.0 update that came out have been a great way to refresh New Horizons. So I'm really excited to see the future of Animal Crossing. I have a lot of hope for it. Excited to see what it does with multiplayer, the crafting and customization aspect. Super excited for that. Other than that, I've been playing Kirby Air Riders, like I talked about last week, and I finally finished my first playthrough of the road trip mode, and I loved it. That mode is so much fun. It's kind of one of those like auto runners, so your character is automatically moving, but you have the three pathways. You can choose different challenges to earn different attributes for your machine, and it's very customizable, highly replayable. So I finished my first story mode road trip playthrough, and I got the not complete ending. So you have to play through road trip at least twice. The second time on New Game Plus to get the true ending and unlock one of the characters, but in typical Kirby fashion, there was some crazy lore and story in that. I love that about Kirby. Road Trip was really fun. If you have Kirby Air Riders and you haven't done Road Trip yet, I highly suggest you do it. It doesn't feel repetitive at all, despite it on paper sounding repetitive, like you're doing missions over and over again. But when you're mixing the game modes, being air ride, top ride, city trial, and you're doing these random challenges, it's so fun. It's like the best World of Lights modern day Sakurai single player mode we've seen in a long time. World of Light wasn't it. Personally, it was still fun, but it wasn't it. I feel like Road Trip is it. So I'm still having a blast with Kirby Air Riders. That game continues to impress me. I started my second playthrough, my New Game Plus one as well. Really looking forward to getting that true ending. I'm also still playing Metroid Prime 4, so between Animal Crossing, Kirby Air Riders, and Prime 4, those are my games for a while. It's gonna take me some time to beat them. I'll probably play Animal Crossing for a long time. I'll keep playing through Kirby Air Riders because it's a big online game. And Metroid Prime 4 is the single player game I am currently dipping into like full force. And I love that game. I'm kind of waiting until I have like dedicated time to play that game because I want to really immerse myself in the world. But I'm loving it. I'm not much further than I was last week. I haven't had the time I would have liked to get further into it, but it's just so visually impressive. The soundtrack's amazing. I was super impressed with Volt Forge, and I cannot wait to continue forward. So, more thoughts on Metroid Prime 4 as I advance, but I've got nothing but good things to say about it so far, and I cannot wait to continue on. So that's what I've been playing this week. That takes us into our news section, and just like last week, it was a pretty surprisingly news-heavy week. And I'll explain once we get into the rumors or leaks section, but things have kind of changed on the Nintendo Direct front. Like we spoke about last week, things have advanced and changed. We'll get there after the news segment. It might kind of intertwine because I've included some leak stuff in the news section. You'll see why. All right, so let's start by talking about the Mario Galaxy Movie Direct, which happened last weekend. I couldn't cover it in the last episode of the podcast because I recorded before the Direct took place, but it was pretty good. We got a great trailer. Yoshi was revealed. He sounds great. He sounds just like Yoshi does in the games, and the movie has been moved up to releasing on April 1st. So previously it was April 4th. It looks like it's coming out on April Fool's Day. So that's exciting. I'm hoping that our local theater will be playing it on release day. I'm very excited for that movie. It should be a great fun time. Tons of products are being either leaked or releasing in stores for this movie. So Old Spice has a line of body washes and deodorants that feature the characters from the Mario Galaxy movie. There's snacks, plushes, figurines that are coming. I'm excited for it. I only got one piece of merch from the Mario movie, the first one, and it's a little mini Toad figurine. So I'm a sucker for Toad and Captain Toad. I'm excited to see what they make for Toad this time around. My girlfriend loves Rosalina. Hopefully, we'll see some cool merch for those two. That's that for the Mario Galaxy Movie Direct. Looking great. Super excited for the movie. Next big piece of news, we actually had a Nintendo Direct dropped this week, but not a regular general one like we were expecting. So we got an update on Tomodachi Life Living the Dream. It got a dedicated Direct. So some of the key points that were revealed there. The game is releasing April 16th. Fairly soon, we're about 2 months away. The game looks great. It's adding island customization, which wasn't in the 3DS Tomodachi Life game, so you can customize the trees, the plants, you can add certain buildings. It looks like it's taking a little note from Animal Crossing New Horizons in terms of island customization. It looks like we're getting the same funny dialogue and interactions as we saw in the 3DS game, and it looks great. Hearing those creepy computer generated voices coming from the Miis was just as funny as it's always been. Something interesting to note here. So, Tomodachi Life Living the Dream adds a non binary option for character gender, and it's adding an option to romance same sex relationships. So, this isn't just, a cool new feature that they've added. This is actually delivering on a promise they made after the release of the 3DS game. If you were around on the internet back then, it was a big talking point. People were very upset because when this game came out in 2014, 2013, around that time frame, people were, up in flames because this game did not include those options and people felt it was not very inclusive. And Nintendo promised in a statement sometime after the game came out that in future entries in the Tomodachi Life series, they would include these options, and they lived up to that promise. So that's great to see. Nothing wrong with making more people feel included and to be able to make themselves true to their real life form in the me version of themselves. So I think that's great. I'm very happy they added that. Cool to see them keep their word on that, 10 something years later, 10, 12 years later. It's great, amazing news. After the Tomodachi Life news, we have more random updates. Random that they keep happening, but it's amazing. I'm totally here for it. So Kirby Air Riders got a big update. This was super exciting. I had just finished playing Road Trip, went on Twitter, saw that they updated the game. So they added a new mode, Grand Prix mode, similar to Mario Kart 8 Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Mario Kart World Grand Prix mode. I'm surprised it wasn't there at first. It didn't feel like the game was missing anything, but Sakurai does what Sakurai does, and he adds even more content for us for free. So there's a Grand Prix mode, and there's the update also included game share. So that's the feature where if you have the Switch 2, certain games that allow for game share, you can beam over a copy of the game to someone else on a Switch 2 or even a Switch 1, and you can play together that way. That way only one person has to buy a copy of the game. That's great. That's Nintendo going back to their Nintendo DS download play roots, and any game that supports game share, I'm there for it. Game share is really cool. Some games it doesn't work as well as it does for others, but from what I've seen online in Kirby Air Riders, game share is working great. And that is out now. After that update, we get another game update. So Splatoon 3 also got a random big update this week. So it added Flow Aura. After a player splats opponents in quick succession, you'll be granted buffs. So you'll move quicker, you'll take damage less easily, and in general, it's collecting aura from being able to kill other players. Really interesting addition. I did try this update out a little bit last night. It's been a long time since I played since I played Splatoon 3, so I'm a little rusty. I need to, really give it a good chunk of time to get back in to be able to try these new features out, but it was pretty cool seeing people be able to use Flow Aura. They also added health bars, so for teammates and opponents, which is a really good change. It's the sort of quality of life improvement that once they add it, you're like, how is this not here before? Being able to see left how much left of the enemy's health you have to take out. Amazing change. Wish it was there the whole time. And then you can also see your teammates if they're in trouble and their health bar is almost depleted. That lets you know, oh, maybe I should go over there, help them out. Really great change. I believe they also made the hitboxes smaller and they buffed the stealth jump gear. So they made it more like you're totally invisible when your gear has stealth jump. So nobody can see on the other team where you're jumping to and they can't just camp out there and kill you immediately after you spawn in. So all great changes. I love that Nintendo's been updating their games for free. This is amazing. I hope they do this for more games. It's been really fun, really surprising. I'm really happy about that. Okay, so I'm including this in the news section. This is one of those things you could look at as either being a rumor or leak or news. I'm putting it in the news because it broke from various news outlets. So a Walmart ad that showcased two Nintendo Switch Online Nintendo Classic games that are not currently available was shown. So this was for the GameCube, Nintendo Switch Online, Nintendo Classics. Metroid Prime 2 and Pikmin 2 were shown in a Nintendo Switch Classics ad. Nintendo did comment on the ad. They said some sort of corporate statement where the ad is not reflective of games that are currently planned for NSO. Very interesting. I think that's too much of a coincidence to be a coincidence, and I think we're looking at a little slip up here. Sometime pretty soon, I have a feeling we'll see Metroid Prime 2 and Pikmin 2 head to the Nintendo Classics, Nintendo GameCube, Switch Online app, which would be really exciting because I have not played Metroid Prime 2. Would love to see it there. That would make it just another Metroid game available on Switch. And the Nintendo Classics apps work great on Switch, and I'm really impressed with the GameCube games they brought so far. They've all ran great, and that'd be a great game to have on Switch available to play for people that haven't played it yet. Pikmin 2 is available already because I believe in 2023, Nintendo did release the Pikmin 1+2 collection, but this is a way for people that are already Switch Online expansion pack subscribers to be able to play it for free. So I totally welcome that. The more the merrier when it comes to those GameCube games for real. So that was that. Here's a little bit of controversy that was in a lot of the Nintendo news outlets this week. Dispatch, the big indie darling game that took the world by storm a few months ago, just released on Nintendo Switch. People were really excited for it. This is a game a lot of people like. I myself have been planning to play it. Once I get more time, I cannot wait to play that game. It looks great. It kind of takes a page out of those Telltale games, maybe even a little bit of Life is Strange vibe. It's kind of got a little bit of puzzle-based gameplay elements, but you're mostly just making dialogue choices to other characters. It's similar to The Boys almost. It's a superhero-based thing. It's very adult, very funny. It was a big release. People were excited for it, pre-ordered like crazy. But when it came out on the Switch, for some reason, it was heavily censored. They don't really, it's not really clear why, whose end, Nintendo's or the developers. I think it has something more to do with the developers because Nintendo doesn't really have issue with mature games being released on their system. Maybe the developers on Dispatch were afraid that if they were to just dump the full uncensored game on there, they would face some sort of repercussions. Either way, it's been a big issue. People have been very upset about that. I think that Nintendo is even allowing for refunds, which is not something they usually do, especially for digital games on the eShop. So that's really interesting. Me personally, I don't know. I mean, I'm definitely planning to play this game on the Switch 2, when I have the time to play it and the extra money. I don't think that the game being censored is really going to bother me because I'm sure that whatever they're censoring is presented in a way where you can still tell what it is. And I have watched people play the game already. I'm not really missing anything, but it is a core part of the experience if that's something that's important to you, seeing the full unedited game. So I don't really know where I stand on that. They should have at least made it very apparent before the game was able to be pre-ordered that it was going to be censored, because I think that's what people are more upset about. They're upset that they didn't know it was going to be censored. So that's a whole ordeal that's going on in the online Nintendo space. Interesting to see how that will develop. I don't know if they'll plan on adding an update that uncensors the game. We'll see. We'll monitor the situation as we go into the future. But one more little news, rumor, leak-ish segment here. Pokemon Masters EX, the mobile game that's been out for years now, revealed that there will be a Pokemon Presents on Pokemon Day, February 27th. So 25 days from the day I'm recording this. That happens just about every year. So it's not really a leak, but somebody data mined something in Pokemon Masters EX and they were able to confirm that there will indeed be a Pokemon Presents on Pokemon Day. Very exciting. We should see the reveal of Pokemon Generation 10. If you were worried for some reason that there wouldn't be a Pokemon Presents on Pokemon Day, now you know. Less to worry about. So I look forward to that. And that takes us out of our news segment for the week and into the real dedicated rumors and leak section. So this is exciting because, as I mentioned earlier on in the show, the Nintendo Direct rumors from last week have now changed. So they moved from being about a general direct that seemed to be what everyone thought last week, and they have changed into being about a partner showcase. So this comes from Nate the Hate, very reliable leaker with his own podcasts. He's very active on social media. His track record is great. When he gets something wrong, it's either because of a miscommunication, somehow he had a bad source, which doesn't happen often, or timelines change. So usually he'll say something, and if it seems like it wasn't right, it was right. We just don't know until way later on. Anyways, Nate the Hate came out earlier on this week, and he said that he knows there's going to be a direct. He doesn't know the format. That changed. He has now come out and said that it's going to be a partner showcase. A lot of people are really upset about this because they feel like Nintendo should really have more to announce on the first party front. They think that Nintendo's having Donkey Kong Bonanza and Mario Kart World from last year do all the heavy lifting still. I don't share that opinion. I think that is overdramatic, but I understand if you're the type of fan that really only cares for main Nintendo announcements. There's a lot of games to play. We've been very spoiled. November was a crazy busy month. We had Kirby Air Riders, we had Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, and then in December we had Metroid Prime 4. I don't know about you guys, but I'm still playing those games. Like, that wasn't enough time in that brief window to get through them all. So I'm okay. I can go a month or two longer without getting a general Nintendo Direct, but some people are like super upset about it. Like, dedicated Nintendo YouTubers and social media personalities are like flaming them for it. So, you start seeing those memes about Nintendo has forgotten about Mario. Give it time, guys. We're going to get mainline Nintendo news. We're going to get Mario news. A 3D Mario, we'll touch on this in a little bit, is likely coming. Hang in there, enjoy the games we have now. If you're like me, there's plenty of backlog games to play. You'll make yourself upset if you care too much about wanting these sort of things to come. It's a lot more fun if you let them come as they do. Don't rush into things. Have fun, ride the hype train, but don't, sit there waiting at the station for it to arrive. Once it's there, get on, ride the hype train, but take it easy, Don't get up in flames about this. It's not a big deal. There's a lot of exciting third-party games that could be announced, especially in the early days of the Switch 2. We're exploring this new powerful hardware. I'm really excited for it. We got a lot of news the past 2 weeks, randomly dropped updates, announcements on Tomodachi Life and such. So I'm good for a month or two. That's okay. They can take their time. Let's see what third parties have to bring to the table. Nate the Hate says that the date is likely on the 5th, could be the 4th, could be the 6th, time zone situation around the 5th. They would probably announce this on Tuesday or Wednesday. So that's good news. I'm excited to see it. Other than that, Nate the Hate also released a podcast episode where he talked about his predictions for Nintendo's 2026 game. So this is exciting. I will go over some of the big announcements that he made, that he thinks will be announced this year or potentially released. But this is what he said we could see for Nintendo's 2026. Nate the Hate believes that a 3D Mario, super exciting, is the big holiday release for 2026. It's definitely time. Super Mario Odyssey was almost 10 years ago, and that game is incredible. I used to just spend hours running around in that game, playing with the platforming. It was so fun. Even after I beat the game, I would just travel to different kingdoms, try to do different impossible jumps, mess around with the captures. I can't wait to see what the 3D Mario team has cooked up. A lot of people thought that Donkey Kong Bonanza would be the reason that we'd be years away from a 3D Mario, but Nate the Hate says that Bonanza was developed by a different team, a newer, slightly younger team, and the 3D Mario team was all along working on 3D Mario. It's like having two cakes, getting Bonanza last year and a 3D Mario this year, so can't wait to see that. I'll be over the moon once that is announced. He says that the other big holiday game for Nintendo is Pokemon Gen 10. That makes sense. Pokemon's always one of the big holiday games. We've had a slightly longer break than usual between Pokemon generations, so I'm feeling really ready, especially after how positive I've been on Pokemon Legends ZA. I think the series is heading in a good direction. I hope they take what they've learned from Legends Arceus and Legends ZA, move that into the main series, and I hope they learned from what went wrong with Scarlet and Violet, and I hope that this game is something everyone will be happy with. He actually mentioned that he thinks that when these games are revealed, we'll be happy with the way they look visually. He thinks it should be visually pleasing. A lot of Pokemon fans, the thing they're most upset about when a new Pokemon generation is revealed is the visuals. So it'd be really nice if that wasn't what dominated the conversation. I'm not usually big on scrutinizing the game's visuals. There's a lot more to a game than just that, but it would be such a relief if people were not up in arms about that. He also mentioned that he thinks we could see a Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Definitive Edition. So that would make a lot of sense because, again, we're coming up on 10 years since the original Xenoblade Chronicles 2 released on Switch 1, and that game is definitely the most choppy. Monolith Soft games are always really high quality, so it's not a bad game by any means, but it is definitely the most choppy. It is visually the most muddy. It has a few little hiccups, like the little gotcha system with the core crystals. A lot of stuff could be just slightly tweaked, and the game would be a lot better for it. If they were to make a Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Definitive Edition, bump up the visuals, I'd be so happy with that. I'm also just really excited to see what Monolith Soft is up to on the Switch 2. So that's something to look forward to if that's something that does indeed happen. Nate the Hate also says he expects that we could see Switch 2 editions this year. He said that Nintendo is likely going to use Switch 2 editions to make new content for games that they don't necessarily want to make a sequel for. So when he said that, he specifically mentioned Switch Sports. So maybe they don't want to make a Switch Sports 2 right now. Maybe that team is working on something else, but they can make a Switch 2 edition. up-res the visuals, make it run smoother, add some new content, some different sports. And Switch Sports is actually a really great game. It's a game I had a lot of fun with. I'd be very down for them to add some more sports. And like I have very fond memories of playing that game. The volleyball one in particular is one of our favorites. So I'd be very down for that. I don't imagine it would cost more than like $20. So the Switch 2 editions are a nice way to add new content to older games. He also mentioned that he could see Pikmin 4 getting a Switch 2 edition, which is something I would love. That game could definitely use a bump in quality. It's already a beautiful game that runs really well, but it would just be so much more enjoyable if it had a bump in frame rate and resolution, because Pikmin games really shine in their environment. So I'd love to see it running in 4K, maybe give it some new content. He also said that he thinks we could see some significant Mario Kart World DLC. That's something I predicted happening and something I would love to see. I think that game is ripe for DLC. I would love to see how they do it. I would love some more tracks for that, more characters and costumes, because that's one of the most fun parts about the game. Nobody really knows what form that would take, but that's something I would love to see. And then in terms of Zelda, Nate the Hate said that he thinks that this year they could announce that they're starting development or in development of the next 3D Zelda game, but he doesn't think we'd necessarily see it this year. He says that there probably will be something Zelda, but he doesn't know exactly what it is. He's feeling more along the lines of a remaster or remake. That is personally how I feel as well. He said he hasn't heard anything about the ever so mentioned Ocarina of Time remake. He doesn't know anything about that. He thinks that if they were to do that, it would take the dev time of a brand new Zelda entry. So he doesn't know if that's the route they're going to take. As much as I would love the Ocarina of Time remake, and a lot of people seem to be buying into that rumor, I don't know if that's what they'll do. I hope that's what they do, though. That would be amazing. And then one more general note that Nate the Hate made. He said that he thinks that this year overall is also going to be heavily supported by third parties. So, like we're seeing with them doing a third party direct in the partner showcase, which is likely happening in a few days, Nintendo may rely more on third parties, and that's not a bad thing. Third party support is very important for having a healthy console, and with things like Call of Duty being promised to come to Switch, it's exciting. We're living in an era where the hardware is powerful enough to be getting these games day and date, like is happening with Resident Evil Requiem. And the games are running really well so far. So I can't wait to see what third parties have in store. And that's kind of all for the rumors or leaks we have this week. I'm just excited for us to have a direct to talk about hopefully next week. And that is it for that. In terms of questions and responses I'd like from you as the listeners, how do you guys feel about a partner direct? Some people are up in flames, like we talked about. I'm feeling a lot more mellow about it and still looking forward to it. How do you personally feel? Let me know. An additional little segment I want to add here. I didn't mention this a few weeks ago when it was revealed just because the timing was awkward and it didn't make the cut for the episode. There are official Lego Pokemon sets that are coming, and this is really exciting. Something not so exciting are the prices. So there's going to be a set for Charizard, Venusaur, and Blastoise that's going to be $650. Super pricey. I mean, the sets look great, but it's just insane. It's a very big brick built model for each of those three final evolved starter forms from Gen 1. If you're a big Lego person, probably something you're into. I don't think I can bite for that much money, but there's a Pikachu and Pokeball set that's going to launch at $200. Also expensive. I don't know if I see how it costs that much. I guess there's the Pokemon tax, but it visually these sets look great. And there's an Eevee set for $60. That one's a lot more doable. It's a decently sized brick built Eevee. If I'm picking up any of these, it's the Eevee one. My girlfriend loves Eevee. I love Eevee. And it's also not going to cost us an arm and a leg, but that's very exciting. Official Lego Pokemon. This is something I dreamed about since I was a kid. When I was like 10 years old, I was making Lego Pokemon on YouTube. All we had was Mega Blocks, and don't get me wrong, I love the Mega Blocks, but Lego's another level. So that's exciting. Just wanted to throw that in and mention that since I missed it before. One more thing I'd like to add. Once we get things going here on the podcast and we build up a little community, I would love to be able to host a game night. We could play Mario Kart World, Kirby Air Riders, Mario Party Jamboree, really anything. Something where we could get together as a community, have a fun little game night. I'd love to be able to do that, get some engagement going with you guys. And yeah, comment down below. Let me know if that's something you guys would like to do. And that's really all we have for this week. It was a surprisingly jam-packed week. Thank you all for listening. I will see you all next week, and hopefully we'll be talking about some good reveals from that partner showcase. My money's in the partner showcase basket. Maybe Nate the Hit was wrong, and it will be a general, but time will tell. Thank you guys for watching or listening. I will see you all next week. Take care.